So good evening, guys. It's Jose here. It's been such a long time since I've been on my own stream. I'm actually kind of, I feel feeling kind of out of it. Like just then, I was hang on, I'm on my stream again. Interesting. Like I'm sitting there going oh, this is strange. Like usually I'm on Epicenter just chilling out, ready to go. But now, since Epicenter is over, it's time for my stream again. And you know what I forgot to get today? I forgot to get the goddamn Steam codes, the $20 Steam codes I was going to do. I forgot to get the 5 ones. I'm going to have to get that on Christmas Eve. And I'll start the giveaway on Gleam on Christmas Day. And then make it finish for probably maybe next week. And I'll only post it to Discord. So, basically, pretty much, guys. If you guys wonder where the hell I have been, I've been basically casting Epicenter for the last week or so. Since it was Tuesday. And it ended yesterday on Sunday, and I was casting the first map of the grand finals, but there's a lot of delays due to productions and tech pauses and games taking a bit longer than they did. And I got to cast one map, the grand final. Apparently, it was an absolute cracker. The rest of the maps with Vitality winning 2-1. So I'm Jose. I'm one of the casters from Epicenter. You guys may remember my voice. You'd be like, hang on, I've heard this guy on the AU Epicenter stream before. And it's like, oh yeah, it is Jose. So I'll talk about, first of all, we'll talk about Chilltime, talk about Epicenter. So Epicenter was one of the most epic events, like one of my probably better first LAN events I've ever casted. Mainly because I got to go with a co-caster, and co-casters that did talk and give me feedback, like off stream. You guys wouldn't have heard this, but some of the casters were giving me really, really good feedback on production and how to act in like casting as well. And basically we talked together about, what roles we do and stuff like that. So if you guys didn't notice that I was mainly put onto a color caster position, and sometimes I did comment a bit of the game here and there. But the main reason why I got put onto the color casting position is because I knew the teams a lot more than some of the play-by-play casters, because they were mostly Eastern States. And trying to cast the European games from Eastern States is pretty difficult. It's like 2 to 3 a.m. wake-up time. And it's like, from Perth, it's a lot easier compared to doing it from the States. I got to stop distracting myself, I could put my phone on the ground. So it was a really awesome event to catch up with Mitch from Camping TV. Actually been wanting to cast an event for his thing for a while, because it was like really, really good to me and stuff like that before I got ESA partner, like before. And I haven't really been able to cast for him since I can really do it myself. So, that's the main thing why, I didn't really cast for Camping TV, is because after Mitch DM'd me about getting into ESA partner, I got ESA partner, so I didn't really need him anymore. Like it's business basic. Like if you're good enough to get into a partnership with Faceit and ESCA, just anything, get those connections, then you really don't need an org. And he understood that. Like I think a lot of the they do understand that you don't if you can get in yourself, you don't need an cast organization to get you in. And of course I'm good enough. I've got good production. As you see here, the stuff behind me, all stuff on my scenes. I'm a good caster. Know my shit, and I, do a lot of research and stuff like that. And it was really, really fun overall to learn more about production, because I've never done production with casting before. So that was a new experience, evening out the sound and stuff like that. Guys may have noticed at the start that the sound wasn't even, and that was my first time producing, and we got it all right. And also got told as well to not mention production issues during the game. Just do it after and get all feedback. And basically did a few rookie mistakes, but I was able to, recover it and keep everyone's sound leveled the entire time, which was amazing, which I'm super, super happy with. Of course, with, all these LAN events, there's obviously a whole bunch of issues that could occur. And as you guys saw, there was a lot of tech pauses, and a lot of other things as well that didn't go to plan. That's the sake of an event sometimes. Sometimes just things don't go to plan, and it's how you react to it is the main deal. And how do you get those things on the board? Like, I gotta say, Epicenter did really, really good with the tech pauses when players needed new headsets. They had a new headset within 5 minutes. And I think, they tried all the issues and they got the new headset out. And I've got to give them commendations that they, just right away went to the new hardware just in case the old hardware wasn't working. They had the new hardware already on hand just in case. So that's good on them. The CSGO was really good as well at Epicenter as well. Minus eHome. I'd say eHome probably were completely outcast, but all the teams were relatively near each other's levels. I've got to say that let's just say I might put this to just chatting actually, because this is more of a just chatting than playing CSGO, because I'm not actually playing a game. So let's just do that. Anyways, it was more of the 7 teams are actually pretty close on level. like, even though there's a little gap between, I would just say the little gap would have been between Evil Geniuses and Navi. Like, Navi, Vitality, and Mouse being the three main teams, and it was like Evil Genius, Force, Bad Mod in here for 5 minutes, g'day, Kate. And I'd say it would be Force, Virtus Pro, and Heroic, and Evil Geniuses in the bottom four. But we got some really really epic games, especially between Vitality and Mouse. And Vitality ended up taking out Epicenter 2019 2-1, and Vitality did a reverse sweep as well. Anyways, Kate, what have you been up to today? What have you been up to? Welcome to Chilltime with Jose. We're talking about Epicenter and my experience with it so far, and we've literally just got into the first bits of it. So, the best part about Epicenter 2019 is that I just took every game that could be cast and possibly casted it. I did have to solo cast at some points, mainly because I didn't have a co-cast and I was from WA. The biggest complaint was definitely the Epicenter was really, really close to Christmas time, and a lot of people have retail jobs. And yeah, a lot of people had retail jobs, so like literally I was the only person without a retail job. So it was like I was practically the only one that could cast because didn't have to go retail the next day and stuff like that. But I got to know two awesome co-casters as well as producer as well, which would be really good for future events as well. Because if you guys don't know that, I can't cast any ESL events. You have to be like specifically contracted, which I'm not. So means like I got a few more people that can get me into those events and get me able to be future caster there as well. I got some good feedback. One of the feedback was I take too much room at times, and basically as a card caster, I just dialed it back a bit. And then, like, towards, like, the other maps afterwards, my co-cast was like, dude, you're doing a really good job at card casting. And, like, you're keeping it within the time limits, and then you pass it on to me. The biggest feedback we've got to learn how to pass it on to each other. You know how with co-cast, you got to, like, try to hand pass the ball and try to make it sound natural and not forced. And we did that pretty well as well. I think me and Chris and Cyber as well, we did that really well with each other. The games that I casted were awesome. My favorite game was definitely the Vitality v Heroic, especially with the Alex 1v3 with the Deagle, where you got 3 kills with Deagle. That was definitely an epic play to commentate, as well as Zawu's 1v3 on both occasions where Zawu succeeded the 1v3 and then failed the 1v3. And that was very, very epic to watch, because I was just going like, whoa, Alex got a 3k? Like, they're all 1 Deagles as well, and it definitely turned around. But also with the 1v3s with Zawu, the first one you saw when your team's not disciplined, as basically Zawu picked off the Heroic members one by one. The 1v3s, these games are all against Heroic, just in case you're wondering. These things are all on the same map on Inferno. And then the last 1v3 that Zawu did, it was just like this. Zawu, basically Heroic were all hiding, not giving Zawu a single opening, and just basically forcing Zawu to make the play. He ended up trying to plant the bomb. Cadian from Heroic came from behind, gave him the AWP shot of death, and that's pretty much what happened. So let's talk about Epicenter all by itself, guys. So let's just start that up. I had a great time casting Epicenter, and thanks to the guys from this channel who actually watched Epicenter as well. So I know Murph was in the chat. I'm not Reckless may have been in chat, but I didn't check the chat that often. And I know a few of the Bugattis, some of the bettors who were in chat, the guys who bet on the games were in chat, actually came. Like, if you guys don't know, Bugattis and a few other bettors actually realized I was on Epicenter AU, and we got about like 20 to 30 viewers in the channel because they knew that I was casting on the AU channel and preferred me. So that's really good, really good news for me. I'm like super happy with that. That, I've got a little fan base, a little bit of fan base. And, I was going to keep plugging away. Don't get too cocky yet. Keep doing my research and keep plugging away. And eventually we get into a actual LAN. So it was an awesome time casting my first LAN event. I also got to learn how to use clean feeds and stuff like that as well. So I get really nervous when I have to use different stream keys and different clean feeds. So I'm really, really happy that I got to learn all of that. And, I think it's going to take me to strength pretty much. Like, I'm going to be taking on more of the clean feed production because I know how to do it now. And I know how to even people's voices and stuff like that. And I know how to manage production as well, to an awful extent. I just need to hone my craft. I'm not perfect, need to hone my craft and keep going. And I'm going to say, I put my hand up for, let's see how much games I put my hand up for. I just closed the window, that's my bad. Let's see how much games I put my hand up for and how many games I did. Okay, so let's just check the schedule. So I got the schedule to my right. And I can't show you guys the schedule, just an FYI. So I casted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 best of threes. But the 9th one has only casted 1 map. So I cast about 8 best of threes. I'm not gonna talk about payment. Screw payment. I just do it for experience, basically. Like, if I get any salary, I'm just gonna literally give it to the other casters because I don't need the funds. Okay, I can give them as a Christmas present. Pretty much it, because I don't need it. I was doing it for experience with co-casters, and that's essentially what I was doing. And I got to know a whole bunch of people as well. I actually invited both Chris and Cyber because I did enjoy co-casting with them. That if they want to come to my EMDL streams and want to co-cast with me, they are feel free to come into and do it because I can do the color casting and they can do the play-by-play and I can just give them the information and stuff like that. So anyway, so let's get to Epicenter. Sorry guys, I've been a bit slack. So let's get to Epicenter here. So where is it? There it is. So we're gonna have the site on our right. Actually, hang on. Hold the phone. Hey. We're gonna have to fix this up because it's on the wrong side. Usually it's on the right. What's going on here? Silly Chrome. Get onto the right hand side. Okay. You guys can see, like, my email address and stuff like that, but I don't really care. We could just put a little bit up. Actually, yeah, let's put a little bit up so you can't see that, okay? Yeah, you're not allowed to see that anyway. Oh, no, my tabs are still there. Okay, good. So as you guys know, Vitality did win the tournament. Vitality beat Mouse 2-1. I casted the first map where Mouse beat Vitality on Inferno, and I kept questioning this entire time. Why do Vitality keep picking Inferno? Because they almost got beaten by eHome on Inferno, and like they were up 12-3, and I think they won 16-12 in the end. But anyway, let's go to the MVP, Zawu. Gotta say, that man's insane. That man is unstoppable. Like, this guy was literally shitting on everyone. Like, this guy was just unstoppable. Like, teams would play against Zawu. That's literally what they do when they verse Vitality. If anyone from Vitality popped off other than Zawu, Vitality would win. Like, Alex popped off against Heroic, and they won that map. Who else? Apex popped off. Oh, I think it was Vertigo. Vitality won that. I think it was Vertigo, actually. I'm not sure. But it was a map where Apex just went ham. I think it might have been Inferno as well. But Apex was top fragging at one point, and then Zawu took over. And that's what happened with Vitality. Is like even if Zawu doesn't pop off, they still could. Even if it's just Zawu popping off, they can still win. And Zawu well deserved MVP. He was just a fucking immense. Basically, Heroic were that afraid of him in a 3v1 situation. Heroic just hid from him, and he basically converted a lot of 1v3s as well. He was immense. He was unstoppable. So we go down to the brackets here. So we'll talk about the quarterfinal later. So we go down to Group A. So basically on the first day was Na'Vi v Heroic, Vitality for eHome. Vitality cleaned up eHome on second map of Nuke, but they had a lot of troubles on Inferno. This is where I kept saying, why do Vitality keep picking Inferno? Because they almost lost it to eHome in Group A. Like, almost lost it completely. Vitality won 2-0, but it should have been a lot more convincing. And that's what I kept saying in analysis, it has to be more convincing. Next one was Na'Vi v Heroic. It was a 2-0 to Na'Vi. Heroic lost their map pick of Nuke, and just Na'Vi like won Inferno and then carried the momentum straight through Nuke. And Simple and Electronic, which is the duos, they were just immense. And Heroic just couldn't do anything to counter that. Cadian was definitely the star for Heroic with the AWP on Nuke. He actually was able to use that AWP on CT as well as T side of Nuke, which is unheard of because T side of Nuke, you don't get many long angles that you can actually defend or any little openings. All of Nuke's got close halls and like little corners and tiny angles. So it's actually really, really good. So we'll go to Group A, the last one. We'll talk about Group A first of all, which is Vitality. So basically the next match between Heroic and eHome, and Heroic won it quite easily. Heroic, I believe, won it 2-0. I wasn't casting it, and eHome went home. And yeah, eHome got, as you can see here, the round difference. I'll actually zoom it in for you guys. eHome's round difference of 45. They were not up to the event. Like, pretty much they were, hey Snooks, what's up? They weren't good. Okay, they were about 2 tiers below every team in Group A basically, and they probably take it as a learning experience coming into it, but they gotta know they're far, far way off from challenging any of these top teams. Far, far way off. I don't think even Tyler, let's just say Tyler qualified. I don't think Tyler would have even survived that group either. There would have been like maybe negative 34, negative 35, but that's roughly about it. Are you allowed to even talk trash about the teams? Yes, I can. I can talk, that they didn't play well. So I'm allowed to do that. So, because I'm talking right now, I'm saying eHome didn't look good. Basically eHome, like especially on Nuke, they played Nuke like old Nuke, where they never challenged outers. And the new Nuke meta is just all out of control. and they were completely outclassed by Heroic and Vitality in this regards. Because Heroic would definitely pick Nuke, and Heroic would win on Nuke. And eHome, they didn't even get to pick Inferno either. So Heroic actually banned it out. Yeah, negative 45, indeed. That's what I said. They were like tiers below. So we go to Heroic v Na'Vi. Na'Vi beat Heroic, but this time it was 2-1. Heroic were able to win that map pick of Nuke. But, this was a sign of things to come with Na'Vi, especially since they dropped Nuke against Heroic. They should just go home forehead. Well, they did, pretty much. So we go to Group B. So basically, Mouse Sports took down Virtus Pro in their first game. Funnily enough, Mouse Sports only dropped one map in their... this is the funny thing. They only dropped one map in their group play, and that was against Virtus Pro. They won 2-1. And Evil Geniuses took down Force. And Force didn't look very good when Evil Geniuses took them down. Breezy and Ethan were starring, and Jerry XE Power just basically silenced, essentially. They got in early, and then Force just faded out. Then it was the loser bracket of Force v Virtus Pro. And dude, that second map of Inferno was such a gong show. And the first map was such a gong show for Virtus Pro. Virtus Pro did not show up pretty much on the first map. It was just Force this, Force that, and Force were literally clowning Virtus Pro. Jerry getting a few kills. Jerry came up from Pop Dog, killed 2 players in B halls, and then went back down. It's like, that's unacceptable. That shouldn't be happening. But Jerry, IGL Force, very, very great player. Then the second map was even a bigger gong show for Force there. Force were up 12-3 on Inferno. And they lost. They fucking lost. 12-3 on Inferno. They were 12-3 first half. And they lost 16-14 or 16-13. That is embarrassing. That should not happen. And there was a lot of rounds that they should have won. And me and Chris were just like, this is just atrocious play from Force. Like, Force did not play well at all. And they Force, good on them for the next map. They came back, it's like, we played bad, let's play good on this map. And then Force took out Virtus Pro on Vertigo. And Flit had the funniest and best pistol round, I've got to say. So if you want to know, Snooks, Flit was basically James Bond. He literally snuck in through middle on Vertigo, snuck past about 3 defenders of Virtus Pro, and got into the A bomb site and killed 3 players. And, gave the pistol round win to Force. It's the most humorous way to start up pistols is when you sneak through behind enemy lines and kill all 3 of them on A site, I believe. Yeah, it was an A site, and they get the bomb plant. And then it became up to the next revenge match between actually, talking about the winners bracket, was Mouse Sports versus Evil Geniuses. Mouse Sports were just tiers above Evil Geniuses. Like, just to be completely fair, tiers above. Mouse easily 2-0'd them, and Evil Geniuses were completely flat. And it carried through to the next game between Force and Evil Geniuses, as Force won, I think, 2-0 in the end, or was it 2-1? I think they won 2-1, Force. There we get to the playoffs, okay? There we get to the playoffs. So it's Heroic v Force. Force, this quarterfinals did not show up. Literally did not show up. Heroic just had their way of them. Heroic beat them on their map pick of Mirage. Because Heroic always banned... Oh, no, was it Mirage? Actually, go check the map picks. I think it was Mirage. Heroic won Mirage, and then Heroic took them down on Nuke as well. So Heroic both won all their picks. Yeah, it was Mirage, because Heroic always banned out Force's preferred map. So Force picked Mirage, knowing that Nuke could be picked. Next game was Evil Geniuses Na'Vi. And basically Seb, as I call them, Stanislaw, Ethan, and Breezy just showed up. And Na'Vi, like the duo of Simple and Electronic, just had no answers. Basically, Ethan, Breezy, and Stanislaw were all firing off on Dust 2, Na'Vi's map pick. Even though Cirque didn't frag that hard, Cirque had such a presence that Na'Vi wouldn't even pick into him. Guardian didn't look good at all. Like, Guardian was just found out, Cirque just toying with him, essentially. And Guardian didn't have the greatest tournament. Guardian did have moments, though. He did have a 1v3 on site in Inferno, one of the group matches. But he just wasn't very good at the tournament. Guardian just needs to get back into form, get his confidence back. Maybe Na'Vi might do another boot camp, try to get some confidence into Guardian, because Guardian's he's just gone flat. And Na'Vi, this pickup of Guardian's looking worse and worse and worse. And I hope Guardian gets better. If not, Guardian should potentially look at retirement or something like that. And maybe Na'Vi just put Simple back in the AWP and get another rifler. Boomich, though, gotta say, Boomich was very, very good in the series. Boomich, in the first halves of both series, was impactful. We've always got like 10 to 15 kills as an IGL. And was also saving rounds as well for Na'Vi. Unfortunately, the combined forces of Stanislaw, Breezy, and Ethan completely blasted Navi. So it gets to the semifinals, Vitality v Heroic. Vitality won Inferno. They picked Inferno and won Inferno. I questioned it again why they keep picking Inferno. Vitality easily trounced Heroic Inferno. Good work to Zyru, and a nutty series from Alex as well. Alex and Zyru just went off, and Heroic had no chance, like literally no chance. Then it was Mousesports versus Evil Geniuses. Seb didn't light up. It was basically Woxic. Carrigan had an amazing time on Train. 3 kills on 3 rounds went to Mousesports purely because Carrigan killed the planter on A site. And Evil Geniuses kept doing this. They kept doing last second executes and not clearing the needed angles. And it cost them about 4 rounds when they kept doing this last second executes. As Mousesports, Evil Geniuses were doing last second executes, acting like they had a man advantage. But Mousesports, they never had a man advantage. And then Evil Geniuses would just die in the side. It's just like, oh, okay, we'll try it again. Oh, we'll do it again. It's like, no, you got to stop. And basically, Mousesports had just better firepower. Cirque couldn't be that imposing presence because Woxic was just as a good AWP as he was compared to the Na'Vi best of 3. Now, lastly, it was Vitality vs Mousesports. Mousesports did win the map pick of Inferno, and then proceeded to get reverse sweeped by Zyru. Zyru literally just lit up. Zyru was very impactful in the Inferno, but, Mouse were able to keep him down. And then, unfortunately, the Zyru show showed up. Alex and Apex started the fragger. RPK as well. RPK did save a few rounds for Vitality, and they just cruised to victory, and Zyru completely deserved MVP. He was single-handedly, I've got to say, biggest part of Vitality is definitely Zyru, 100%. Because the guy, he can trade with an AWP, okay? Quick, in a second, he'll trade with an AWP. And he was just massive that series. Absolutely massive. And that was fun to cast Zyru. I was having the fun of my life, time of my life casting these semi-finals and the grand finals. Well, even though it was only for the first map. And I got massive appreciation for the orgs, the teams, Epicenter as well, Capping TV, and all the sponsors and stuff like that for bringing such an event. There was some bad things that were said by Foreign about production and the discard communications with it. I didn't have that much of an issue. Mainly it's probably because the event might have been a bit hectic down on the floor, and they probably need to get that sorted out. Maybe, I'm not terribly sure. Just get it sorted out, have a discussion about it. It's good to have feedback in the public dome, so you guys get an idea of what you need for next time, basically. And Foreign apparently was going there to help the event, essentially. Try to make it a lot better. And he wasn't happy with it still. But, I was pretty happy with it. They had a few guys in the chat. Basically, we have a secret channel where we discuss things. There are a lot of guys in there who are helping the non-English casters and myself, the Australian caster, of having appropriate Photoshop and PNG stuff ready to go for the playoff brackets. So when I switch scenes to the playoff brackets, it'd be up to date right away. And I've got to give it to them. That was a very, very good job. Because I was struggling with it the day before on Saturday, like trying to get the brackets and numbers in. And I was like, dude, I can't do this. So I, contacted Mitch. And I'm going, I need a bit of help there. And Epicenter responded immediately. And they had this one guy, after every map happened, let's just say Mousesports won a map, 5 seconds later, slaps it in. He always has the PNG up. It's like, good, you guys are good to go. And I'm like, damn, thanks. I had to thank him. I'm like, dude, you helped me out a lot. Because, on those times where I'm on break, after a match, I'm either drinking some tea and trying to fix up the Photoshop for the next match. Or, the other thing is, I'm talking in there to talking to my casters and stuff like to get a bit of feedback. I wasn't taking a break. The only time I actually took a big break and had a shower was between the semi-final and grand final just to wake myself up for the first map. So let's get to the next thing, which was the Challenge Cup, I believe. Yep, the Challenge Cup coming in. And basically G2 won against Spirit. I am very happy that Spirit got here. Spirit's been one of my favorite teams that may be in ESL. May come in ESL. Is that a Rudolph the Reindeer? Wow, that actually goes so well with my emote. Holy shit. But Spirit, one of the teams I do enjoy casting, especially mainly because of Mer, Disbalance, and a few of the other guys in there, and Chopperus as well. They managed to get second. G2 definitely should have won the event, and they did. Fortunately, G2 ends this season on a high. I was getting really worried. Someone actually listed all of G2's failures this year in 2019, which I tell you now had to span across 2 tweets. That's how many chokes and failures they had. And it was a good thing to see G2 end on a happy note, okay? Blame Stooks, he made it first 10 minutes ago. Yeah, no, I'll say it looks good. It looks good. So Fury and Ents, these two teams, they come into the scene like a flash in the pan, and now they're just dying cinders, basically. Ents, self-inflicted. Furia, they're just getting found out, Furia. They're not, I don't think they're doing any demo studying, and they're not developing any other strategies, because at the moment, what happens was they were flash in the pan, kicking ass, and then people started watching the demos and what they did. And then everyone started knowing how OP the Kriegs were as well. And Fury just basically found out. Ents, on the other hand, massively self-inflicted, okay? Ents picked up Sunny, dropped Alex B, probably known as the worst trade deal of all time, probably ever, just to quote Trump there, because it was one of the worst deals that Ents have ever done, and they are still suffering from it. I'll give you an idea of how much a hole Ents is in at the moment. Ents had to qualify ESA Advanced. They're not going to get invited to MDL. Even though it's giving two teams that have to make MDL since two of the teams broke up, I doubt ESEA will give an MDL spot to Ents. There's teams out there that deserve it more. Godsent, for example. There's also some teams in Advanced as well that deserve that spot as well. So basically the teams coming up from Advanced and MDL is Nordavind. So they're coming up. I believe it's Unicorns of Love. And I'm trying to figure out the last one. Gamer Legion and Virtus Pro. Yeah, that's right. It's Unicorns of Love, Gamer Legion, Virtus Pro retained their spot. I'm trying to figure out the last one. Can't put my finger on it. Because Phoenix surrendered all of theirs, so two MDL teams dropped down because Pact lost it. And with like Cacao were the final team to go into MDL. Now, the biggest problem that ESL Pro League's going to have is that there's only 4 teams at the moment. Basically, Optic, I don't have the wiki here, but Optic Gaming have disbanded. They were in the ESL relegation, and Windigo have disbanded as well. I mean, there's only 4 teams in relegation. And today, there's rumours that Sprout are going to lose 2 of their players. And I'm not sure what's going to happen there with a Sprout. It's going to have to surrender their spot. Which means that anyone who's in ESL relegation will make ESL Pro League for Europe. Which means that Hafu, Spirit, and Arki, which had to have a coach play in, will be able to go to ESL Pro League. Now, this is the biggest problem. If 3 of those teams are dead, but I think right. Thank you for the follow. Oh, nice name. Thank you for the follow. But if 3 of those teams don't have, like, I'll say Sprout and be able to recruit a few people for the next MDL season, they'll be fine if they can't play ESL relegation. But basically, ESL and ESEA need to get 2 more teams from EU Advanced. And I have a feeling they will do that. They'll bring up the 2 teams that got eliminated in the lower bracket. So that would be alternate attacks, but I'm not sure how they're going to do that. Or maybe bring up teams that lost in the relegation, like, for example, in the lower bracket, like Wizard, not the, I think it's Pact and Fate, and bring them into the fold, as, they were in the lower bracket and lost to Gamer Legion and with like a cow respectively. Alternatively, they can invite teams. I wouldn't be surprised if they invite Godsend into it. I wouldn't be surprised if Godsend came into ESEA. And OG was given an invite as well to the EU League, because OG's mostly got EU players. So I wouldn't be surprised if both those teams were invited to ESEA, MDL. And I'm not sure if Ents is going to be invited there either. Because the thing with Ents is that they're not looking so hot compared to Godsend and OG. So next time is Movistar Riders and High Legion, 5th and 6th, and then Big entirely Big. There's going to be some big movements in Big. Apparently they've already recruited Saracen from Sprout. And apparently they can get rid of Smuya, and I'm trying to figure out the other player they're trying to get rid of. They're trying to make a full German squad. So Smuya might say goodbye, but I doubt it, and Zantares may go as well. That's the rumours from Decay. That Big recruit 2 players. But the other rumour is that Smuya and Finger are out the door. That hasn't been confirmed yet at all. Tyloo, once again, showing their struggles at 7th and 8th. So you do go down here in group play. So Furia won their group pretty easily. They got 2-0 by Spirit. Completely expected. With Group A seemed like an easier group, to be honest. Like, Furia, basically the top team in here would be arguably Furia. Ents and Movistar Rise and Tyler would be all on the same level. And, one of these teams just had to get eliminated. Now with Group B, that's a stacked group over someone. You got the ESL Pro League of G2. Potential ESL Pro League. Hard Legion were... they got 1 win, which is massive considering the fact that they've got a group with Big, Spirit, and G2. And as you see here, in the playoffs, G2 easily outclassed Ants. Spirit easily disposed of Furia, and then G2 2-0 Spirit, as they should have. And that's pretty much the Challenger Cup, essentially. I didn't cast any of these games, so, you know, we'll just keep going on. So next up, we're going to go to the player stats. So we're going to have this year in review in 2019. I'm going to say the best player of the year. We've got the stats here. Best player of the year apparently is simple in the moment based on rating, but I feel Zyru will probably get player of the year. That's what I reckon. Zyru will definitely get player of the year. He's been a solid AWPer, big part of Vitality. Simple's got like Electronic as well, who's also in there as well to rely upon. Zyru's just a one-man army, essentially, Vitality. And I feel like he will probably win player of the year based on these stats. The other competitors in the player of the year will be Device and Simple. They played exceptional. Simple's still one of the best players in CSGO. Device had an amazing year as well. Also, Zyru won 5 MVPs. Simple and Device both won 3. And I'm not sure anyone else who won MVPs in here. The outliers, I'd say, would be Jame and Alish and Electronic. They did perform pretty well. Jame, especially for Virtus Pro. Not sure why this isn't updated yet. This should be updated to Virtus Pro, by the way. But it hasn't been updated yet. So, just kind of a review of 2019, I would say, is that mainly the dominance of Vitality coming onto the scene was probably the big story of 2019. And, well, a lot of buyouts as well. And a lot of announcements for exclusive leagues as well, as Blast announced their new league. And I don't know what's going to come up in 2020 for CSGO. There's always a lot of little tournaments sprouting around now. As you may have seen in HLTV, a lot of little tournaments coming up. Like, for the tier 2 teams. And I think CSGO is growing in Europe quite a bit, where teams who aren't ESL Pro League teams are actually making money on it. Like, actually can make some money. And a lot of tournament organizers from a lot of places around Europe are putting tournaments together. Same with NA as well, with Nerd Street Gamers, give them a bit of a shout out. They're creating tournaments as well as Mythic as well. They're creating tournaments in the USA to allow the MDL teams in NA to be able to compete for some prize money. Talking about NA though, NA's ESL Pro League will also have a bit of an issue as well, as basically, 2 of the teams became ineligible, and they had to pick out 2 MDL teams to go into ESL Pro League. And now they've got this issue where the Complexity have too many European teams. And talking about that, too many European players, Complexity could also get the invite to MDL as well, because they were in Pro League in NA, so they could probably get the MDL invite in Europe. But talking about, the NA stuff, is that they have an issue where they only have three teams competing in relegation and only 2 spots. So there's going to be a bit of an issue, and they're going to have to sort that one out. There's a lot of things to sort out here where teams, get bought out by other teams, and they cause roster issues, and they cause a big headache for tournament organizers. So that's what we're looking for in 2020. So 2020, what I feel is going to happen in 2020 is that I think Astralis will eventually be knocked off that perch. With Zyru coming into the scene, and just guess, Astralis, they're the team to beat. I just feel like they're going to get knocked off their perch permanently by Vitality, especially with Apex and Alex starting to really come into the scene and Vitality really getting that boot camp together. I feel the CS teams, they're going to fall down a bit at this tournament Epicenter. Neither of the CIS teams really impressed. Na'Vi gone down. Force, they're not up there yet, but they're working well. Cherry's being an incredible IGL. XP Pal's definitely a talented AWPer. Virtus Pro as well, with being Jane back. Basically with Virtus Pro, I think they might have to let Edren go and look for another IGL. I think Edren, he's a bit past. He hasn't been really fragging as an IGL for a while. Or they just have to go on a boot camp during this time and try to get Edren's fragging ability back to what that was. Because Edren, Sanji, Kikert, Buster all had good moments, but Adrian just seemed to be the struggling factor. So, what else have we got here? We got the rankings here. So, Astralis will end the year as being the top ranked team. It'll be Fnatic, Liquid. Mousesports will probably go up a bit, might take number 3 spot. Evil Geniuses might actually go down a bit, but, 100 Feeds are far away from taking that 5th spot. Because Evil Geniuses showing at Epicenter wasn't that flash. But I'm sure the HLTV guys will see it differently, but they weren't that flash at Epicenter. And a 4th place finish was probably flattering Evil Geniuses, given how flat they were. Breezy and Ethan and Set as Stanislaw probably the big stars, as well as Cirque as well. When they showed up, they played amazingly well. When they didn't show up, they were just dead ducks in water, essentially. So we got a lot of tournaments. We had a lot of tournaments in 2019, as you see here. So we go to the start. Let's just go to the start. We had 95 tournaments on 95 international lands, by the way, guys. 95 international lands. Just think about it. We had the play-ins for the first major, Kiev. We had the ROG Community Challenge, iBuyPower Masters. That's a Danish tournament. I'm not sure why it's called International LAN. Then we had E-League, the Invitational. So E-League making a return. And once again, ROG, Asus making a point, and GG Bet. A lot of qualifiers. Then we had the major, followed by the WSG World Finals and the female World Finals as well. Then the Blast Pro Series in Brazil. A lot of the Tier 2 ones as well, the United Master League Finals. Then we had I-League Stars Season 7, an Indian tournament. We also had some more good Game League qualifiers in Blast Pro Miami. With the ESL Rank S Combine, which was basically a teams made of Rank S, and then they had the Copenhagen Games, then DreamHack Open Rio. I think it was the first DreamHack in Brazil, I believe. And IM Sydney. The Australian teams didn't do well here. Even Renegades played pretty poorly. I mean, 100 Thieves played pretty poorly here. Then we had Blast Pro Series Madrid Tours. Then we had the Pro League of Season 9 with Americas and Europe going to the next week. Then we had CS Summit 4. That was, it's good to have a laid-back tournament in between. Then we had DreamHack Masters Dallas. And then we had the ECS Season 7 Finals and DreamHack Open Summer, which will be a Masters next summer at You're Shipping. And then we had the ESL Pro League Finals in France just a few days later. I think there was the infamous jet lag meme, or Team Liquid literally went from one tournament to the next here. So, looking at 2019, we had a lot of tournaments for CSGO. We had about 95, probably about 70 of them, 60 of them were decent tournaments for our pro teams and tier 2 teams. Then we had the DreamHack Showdown, which was the first all-female tournament that gave a female team a spot in Rotterdam, probably the first one ever done. Then we have ESL in Cologne, the Blast Pro Series in LA. Then we had ESL Season 31 Global Challenge with the EU and Americas Grand Finals hosted there in Dallas, Texas once again. Then we had the next major with the Europe and America and basically CS and Asia minors. This was actually a really good major for 100 Thieves, and it just showed that ENCE didn't play very well in this as well. And I think a Vanguard, I believe, came second out of nowhere, so now Virtus Pro, and they took down 100 Thieves, and 100 Thieves really should have won that semi-final, but they're always going to be Blitz and Astralis in the final. Basically, I think both Virtus Pro and not Renegades, 100 Thieves got way further than they should have in that thing. So we had IM Chicago as well. I think this was an incident where teams literally flew in, but I'm not totally too sure. Then we had the major. Then we had the Blast Pro Series Muscat. Then we had the Arctic Invitational, which had Fury and a few other teams as well. Then the Omen Challenge. This was a unique tournament where it was just 1v1. Simple was in this as well. Then we had the V4 Future Festival, Sports Festival, where Virtus Pro were tricked. Now Mad Lions won their first tournament. Then the Game Clash Masters, ESL 1 New York. And then the MSI MJ Finals, I did cast qualifiers. That was pretty disappointing to see that there was a bunch of BO1s in the best of 3 finals. I'd rather have some best of 3s rather than just one BO3 in the finals. Then we had DreamHack Masters Malmo, Rotterdam, where the first all-female team competed. And unfortunately, they got completely slaughtered, essentially. And I'm not sure if DreamHack will proceed with that with their Valencia Showdown in the future. Then we had the Star Series I-League 8, then Blast Pro in Copenhagen. I know a few of my friends watched that live. Then we had IM Beijing. Then we had the Streamlands Asia Finals, which was a big talking point considering the ESL Australian and New Zealand APAC came afterwards. As you may have known, a lot of teams had to pull out in the Australian region because the ESL Pro League was on at the same time. Then we had the DreamHack Open Atlanta. Then we had the Season 10 of the ESL Pro League Americas and Europes. Then the CSGO Asia Championships as well. And Season 8. And basically we had a whole bunch of tournaments in December, I believe. We had about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 tournaments in about 15 tournaments in a month the last 31 days. Like half this month was tournaments. We had also the Key Manager Yulika, which I did cast as well. And we had a lot of these in Epicenter as well, which I casted as well. And I think there's going to be there's going to be no more tournaments for the year. And that's pretty much it for the moment, guys. And that's, that's the year in review for CSGO. And I gotta say, CSGO is growing. I can actually get you guys to 2018. How much tournaments was had in 2018? We actually grew. So let's bring it back. We actually grew, pretty good. We had 91 tournaments last year. I believe it was just international lands. Yep, major and international lands. So that's pretty good. Let's go the year before. And we had 81. So, CSGO is growing. They're introducing more and more, more and more finals and stuff like that. So that's a good thing for CSGO and a good thing for me as well. So it gives me more games to cast and stuff like that. There'll probably be there'll probably be more tournaments next year. Sorry for the cough there. And it'll be amazing to cast, basically. It'll be amazing to cast. And hopefully I can get my first land cast. Hopefully I can get into an AU stream or anything like that to be able to cast a few lands, essentially. And I gotta say, I enjoyed my Epicenter experience. Gotta thank all the guys that were there. That's pretty much it for the CSGO. I've gotta say, there's gonna be a lot of tournaments coming up next year. There's already been a few that are announced. All the dream hacks have been announced. And no talent have been announced yet. Not even a talent for Leipzig, which I'm going to. But I don't think I'll be casting there. I think DreamHack, they've got their talent already set in stone, which is basically, it's going to be Tom Biz and Just Harry, probably. Like it always is with Tom Biz and Just Harry. And, DreamHack is going to stick with them. They're also probably going to stick with, I'll say Potter as well as an analyst. And maybe get Maniac or someone like, or Pimp to go on to as the other analysis as well. I wouldn't be surprised if Death Coast is once again Stunner or Machine. Would not be surprised with that at all. And I've been trying to get into these talent pools, but obviously to little avail, of course. So I'm gonna have to keep getting to these tournaments, keep building up my resume, and I've got the Epicenter under my belt now. I've also got Key Boundary Luka, which is a Bosnian tournament under my belt. Done a few of those casts on other streams. And, once I keep building up my resume, I can go up to these bigger firms and be like, hey, I've casted a lot of these events, casted production, know what to do with stuff like that. Put me in, coach, basically.